Hi, my name is Brenda St. Louis, and welcome to today's Masterclass, the 5 insights you need to know to rewire your wealth. I've used these strategies with hundreds of clients to help them create lasting joy, peace, and confidence with money no matter what happens in your life. And these strategies have been used to help clients to create abundance and freedom and wealth in a world where, money is becoming increasingly more complex. My clients are now empowered to make powerful choices that will positively nourish themselves, the planet, and their community. This probably isn't your first online class about money, I'm pretty sure. There are plenty out there that talk about getting rich quick, perhaps, and maybe even clearing up your money mindset. So I don't want to waste your precious time telling you something you already know. So let's jump in and see if this is really the place for you. This masterclass is for you if you make like a high or average income. You might be single or in a relationship, but you struggle with money. You might feel overwhelmed with a constant stress about money in your life. You invest in your personal development, and you're a heart-centered person that cares about the planet and the people in your family and your community. And you want to leave a positive legacy with your life. And if you're willing to do something different, and you can take this information and implement it right away, that's key. And if you want to learn how to deepen your relationship with money and experience that peace, joy, and confidence in your money right now. If this sounds like you, then the next 45 minutes will be the best time you've ever invested in learning about money. I'm going to give you a step-by-step map to finally create true wealth with your money without getting stuck in that overwhelm or getting trapped in old patterns. But let's be clear, this course is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is not a program to fix you and then you never have to think about money again. It's also not a plan to just make more money and everything will be better. That never works in the long run. As much as you think it will, it doesn't. Trust me. You have to do the work and be willing to stand in that, I hate to say it, but it's the uncomfortable stuff. But I promise you, the results you get are anything but typical. My clients work their buns off and are open to having their sense of possibility with money change. It takes courage, and I share their stories for you to see what is possible if you commit to your success. But before we get into all the good stuff, let's check in and see where you're at real quick. So does this sound like you? Do you make pretty good money, but you never feel like it's enough? You feel like you can never get ahead and you don't know where all your money is going? Feels like you have maybe a hole in your pocket and someone is secretly siphoning off money out of your bank account? Or when you look at your finances, do you feel like you want to bury your head in the sand like an ostrich? Does everything look like incomprehensible mumbo jumbo and you don't have a clue what all this financial jargon means? Do you feel totally overwhelmed by all the details and the choices? There are a lot of people that struggle with money. And a lot of times we feel like talking about money with our partner is really hard, and it can often lead to arguments. I hear that a lot with my clients. Or your debt might be weighing you down. I know I've experienced this, where all of my dreams for the future have always been pushed aside until I paid off my debt. And then more debt would come, so I'd have savings, so I could do something, and it was wiped out. So I never actually experienced the dreams that I really wanted in my life. Do you feel powerless to change your behavior? You know you're doing stuff that's not good for you, but you can't seem to change it? Do you know what you're supposed to do with your money, but sticking to it and making it happen never actually happens? Are you losing sleep with worry and anxiety about money, or do you just avoid everything and not think about it? And you might be popping antacids to tame maybe that ulcer that you're growing in your stomach. Deep down, do you feel like you're going to spend the rest of your life struggling with money and die broken alone and be eaten by wild dogs? If any of this sounds like you, I have great news, because none of those problems are the real problem with money. Those are just symptoms. The real problem is that you haven't had what I like to call the 5 insights with money. These powerful insights will finally help you look beyond the surface of what's not working in your relationship with money. And once you have these 5 insights, you will be able to see why money is never the real problem. You will realize that stress and worry around money, really, it's not your fault. You'll be able to create a relationship with money that will not only alleviate your stress, but it will give you a level of confidence that will impact all areas of your life, not just your bottom line. It'll affect everything. You'll also understand how powerful money can be and begin to harness it to nurture you and everyone around you. But most of all, you'll experience what true peace and joy with money feels like. How does that sound? Is that something that you want? Before I continue and talk more about the 5 insights, I'd like to share a little bit about me so that you get a sense about who I am and why you're listening to me in the first place, okay? I'm Brenda St. Louis, and I've been a financial therapist and money coach for over 10 years now. For over 24 years, I've been helping people move out of pain into joy and transform their lives. I've traveled the world as a speaker, a coach, and an author in Asia, Europe, and the United States, leading transformational empowerment seminars. But my specialty is uncovering that unconscious block that cripples my clients from living their fullest life. You know, it's my passion to create more confidence, peace, and joy with money for everyone that works with me. I have a very, very big vision, and I'm going to share a little bit with you. Like, I'm on a mission, really, and I have a vision. Living in connection to the planet is kind of my shtick. It's always been. I try to be almost zero waste, and I stand for Mother Earth whenever I can. You know, I really, truly long for a time when our enjoyment here and our consumption of things is no longer detrimental to the well-being of the earth. You know, I fell into working with money about 10 years ago because I realized it was one of the biggest pains that so many of us struggle with. I mean, I had struggled with roller coaster income my whole life, and I could never figure it out. Where was I going wrong? Like, I tried everything I could imagine, but I couldn't figure it out. At times I had huge debt, and I was also really good at making money. So it wasn't about the money or the amount of money. It was how I was relating to it. I believe that money and our challenges with it are not our fault. And empowering people to have healthy relationships with money, you know, it's not only good for me and my clients, but it's also good for the planet. And that's why I do what I do. So let's get right into it. Insight number 1, it's not your fault that you've got money baggage. I know you may want all the juicy bits about how to make a lot of money and invest it so you can finally figure out this money stuff once and for all. But trust me, we'll get there. But first, you need to acknowledge how deficient our education is around money, especially the emotional aspect of it and the financial aspect, to be honest. Money is not a subject we're taught in school, so we understand almost nothing about it. But we know about money, usually what we know about money, we generally learn from watching our parents, who oftentimes have no real clue, or just passing down the same dysfunction they learned from their parents. Then when we're out in the real world on our own, we often guess our way through it with the aid of whatever quick fix book is on the bestseller list, and we get piecemeal advice from people trying to sell us financial products sometimes. Given this chaotic and half-explained understanding of money, it's no wonder so many of us struggle with money. There are so many holes in our money knowledge, and the biggest gap is the emotional gap. If you've ever tried to budget or tried to save or tried to understand money, good for you. But let me ask you this, is it working for you? The biggest challenge with money is that it's more than just facts and figures. It has emotional weight, and many of us lack the confidence needed to fully connect with our money. All this adds up to financial illiteracy. Most of us are financially illiterate. We don't know what we don't know. And even when we do know things, we can't figure out why it's so hard to put them into practice. This leads to all kinds of problems. You know, full financial literacy requires dissolving the feelings of stupidity around money by empowering yourself with knowledge and confidence. So if all it takes is knowledge and confidence, why not just DIY that shit? Do it yourself and become financially literate. There are so many books you can read, books on how to get rich, how to budget, how to invest, how to become a money master. And it can be overwhelming. How do you even know where to start? And which advice is actually correct? Did you know there's no degree out there that actually teaches financial literacy? You can become an accountant, a financial planner, an economist, but even those degrees leave the students with holes in their financial know-how. Even they have a hard time truly growing their wealth. I mean, some of them do, but I've worked with accountants and financial planners that struggle as well. There's so much money information out there. It's all over the place, and it continues to overwhelm people. Do you feel overwhelmed by it? I know this from experience. I went to school to become a certified financial planner, and I learned a lot of stuff, and really good stuff. But eventually, I realized that there were some really important things missing. And it's not just me. As I said, the accountants and bookkeepers who come to me because they're constantly overwhelmed and struggling with money. That's because true financial literacy is really about understanding and managing our emotional literacy around money. And understanding the deepest layers of our emotions around money and understanding our subconscious patterns it's nearly impossible to do all of that on our own. That's why it's hard to DIY your money health. Few people actually have the patience, commitment, and self-honesty to do it on their own. Why is it so hard to become fully financially literate? Have you ever heard the phrase, what fires together, wires together? When something happens over and over again, it fires and wires in our brain. And if there's an emotional or a traumatic event that you're experiencing, it wires even more strongly in your brain. And that's true for money knowledge as well. And unfortunately, almost no one teaches money alongside the emotional aspects of money. So growing up in this society means we're literally wired to be financially illiterate. Rewire Your Wealth teaches financial literacy from the top educators in the country, with us also pairing at the same time the work towards healing the emotional triggers that surface along the way. So we're literally rewiring our financial literacy. Money is one of the most emotional aspects on the planet, and a lot of teachers treat it as a black and white or a right and wrong subject. If you do X, you'll get Y results. Follow these 5 steps and everything will work. But that doesn't deal with any of the underlying emotions on how we feel about money. Alternatively, you might find teachers who help you overcome your emotional baggage around money, but don't teach you the basic financial literacy pieces. So while you may feel better or maybe even manifest a ton of money, you still have no idea how to manage it and steward it throughout your life. That was me. I was one of those people that could manifest huge amounts of money when I needed it, but I had no clue how to manage it and nurture it. Money was this magical, mysterious beast that I didn't really understand. And to be truly financially literate, I had to wire the emotional aspects with the practical aspects of money. I did some crazy things around money, and stupid things too, but they were all based in unregulated, impulsive emotions. I needed to have my capacity to create wealth fire with my capacity to steward wealth. And that's what will truly transform your money journey, wiring your emotions about money with knowledge about it to achieve true financial literacy and confidence. How's that sound? Okay, well, that was the first insight. The second insight is your mindset creates your money, and rewire your unconscious beliefs. I know you're probably thinking, what kind of woo-woo stuff is this? But the truth is, once you understand the nuts and bolts of the money system, the technicalities of the game, truly winning with money, is all about the inner game. If you have tried to fix your struggles with money in the past and it didn't work, then this is the mechanism that is getting in your way, your mindset. In my 25 years as a therapist and facilitator, I've noticed that all the successful people I have worked with have a mindfulness practice designed to align their subconscious beliefs with their unconscious actions. And one of the biggest pitfalls of people that do a lot of personal development is we take all these courses and we feel good during the course and shortly after, and then we fall back into our old patterns. Has that ever happened to you? You know, the daily practices and the commitment to yourself is paramount. I have clients that fall off the wagon. It happens. But the ones that succeed notice quickly and they get back into their practice. This is so important. You will create what you believe. This isn't just metaphysical. Your unconscious biases and expectations color your reality. If you believe that you're not worthy of money or success, that will show up in 1,000 little ways, from not getting that raise or getting a windfall to only manifest something to snatch it away, like an unexpected car repair or illness. So many of my clients have confessed to me that before working with me, they would reach debt-free multiple times, and as soon as their credit card was at zero, they were right back in debt again. When I challenged the underlying belief around why this keeps happening, they admit that they could only envision what it would feel like to have zero debt. They can't even imagine what having a savings would look like, so their belief creates patterns of debt instead of patterns of wealth. But being in debt isn't the only manifestation of how your belief creates your reality. Do you believe that you have to work hard for your money? Are you unable to see easy money coming to you? Do you think only greedy people have money, so you surround yourself people without money that aren't greedy and kind? And whenever you see someone with money, you think they're greedy and unkind? Do you worry about earning more money? It might separate you from your friends. And so you never really try for that big promotion or that dream that not only would make you wealthier, but would actually fulfill a deeper part of your calling. Or perhaps you grew up believing that money doesn't grow on trees, so you keep putting off that dream of being a walnut farmer because you literally derive your money from trees. I know it sounds crazy, but people go to all kinds of lengths to convince themselves that whatever subconscious bias they have is true. What you believe about money really matters. And if you've been struggling with debt or reaching a higher income level or even stewarding the wealth you've already created, your belief around money is subtly sabotaging you. But here's the thing. You are not broken. Your anxiety and distress about money is your soul's way of bringing to your attention that something needs healing. Something needs shifting. This isn't about blame or shame. It's not about covering something up. You know, as Brené Brown says too, is secrecy will only create more fear and anxiety and more shame. It's about accepting and releasing some of the hurt, the trauma, the stuckness that is manifesting in your body as dis-ease and in your wallet as lack. But really, it's coming from your mindset. It takes massive amounts of energy to pretend to be okay when you really don't feel that way. Wouldn't it be amazing to free up all that energy you're wasting just keeping it together? And finally be at peace in a way that helps you cherish your money in a way that it serves you and those around you? You know, what fires together wires together. When your money patterns come from the dysfunction of your parents or past traumas and abuses, your neurophysiology gets wired to create and recreate the same exact patterns of dysfunction in our lives again and again. Our behaviors are fashioned by those situations. It's hard to rewire your brain from the same reality it was created. That's why you need a mindfulness practice that truly transforms your connection with money. To sum up, your subconscious has been recording stories since before you were born. If you're struggling, that's a reflection of a program that's holding you back. And chances are it's showing up both in the way you act and in the results you're getting with your financial life. When I got serious about incorporating mindfulness into my routine, my life totally changed, literally overnight, with much less effort than I had come to expect. And it makes sense. You're going to be confronted with a number of signs on a daily basis, messages from the universe. How you receive them will be based on whatever program is running in your subconscious. If you subconsciously believe you're not smart enough or worthy enough to have money in your life, or that money is bad, or it is hard to make money, you'll pick up the clues to lead you to prove that you're right. So you absolutely need to have a wealth mindset and an actual system for rewiring your fear, shame, doubt, and freakouts. It's imperative. All right, well, that was insight number 2. Insight number 3, more money is not the solution to your abundance problem. Let me ask you this question. How many times have you thought, if I only won the lottery, all my problems would be solved? If I could just get a windfall, I'd never have problems with money again. It's so easy to fall in this trap of believing that if only you had more money, you'd have the exact life you've been dreaming of. We desperately want this to be true because it makes all our financial woes someone else's fault, a problem out there with the system or other people. But the truth is, you will never be truly wealthy unless you learn to rewire your brain so that you feel abundant no matter how much money you have. Many of you have probably heard this, that 90% of people that win the lottery are either in the same amount of financial struggle 5 years after winning or more. It's a mindset thing. Let me say that again. True abundance is not about having more money. It's about recognizing your abundance regardless of how much money you actually have. So you can do that right now. Of course, I know that many people in our country and all over the world are living in poverty, and they are struggling to meet their basic needs. This is a problem. This needs to be addressed in a more global level. However, this is not who I'm talking to here, right? This program is for those of you that struggle and have no idea what it is that's in your way of true abundance because you know it can happen. More is not always better. When we focus on more, what we're doing is drawing our attention to the lack between what we have and whatever we think more will do for us. This mentality of more leads to feeling of lack. Believing that more money will magically fix the situation just disconnects us from the true money block that lies beneath. When we play with a mentality of more, which is really a mentality of lack, we end up drowning in this money system. It enslaves us and we lose our power to be true leaders within it. It's time to unshackle yourself. It's time to take off that blinder and resolve this money problem once and for all. And this isn't going to happen by just making more money. Most coaches out there tell you that to be truly wealthy, you need to start your own business, you need to create a side hustle or join an MLM or learn how to sell better. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to ask you to do is much deeper. Listen, I want you to make more money and have your money work harder for you. But the way to do that is by learning what enough is. The real work is nurturing your inner abundance. I know this seems totally counterintuitive, especially if all you can see is how money will solve your problems. But let me ask you, how much money did you make in your 20s? Probably a lot less than you're making now if you're not in your 20s right now. So why is it that you're making more and it still doesn't feel like enough? When we make more, we spend more. When we spend more, we think we need what we spend on. We are programmed by TV, peers, social media that more is better. I often say to my clients to imagine your financial pot of money that you have is a canvas. If it's a big canvas, you'll probably use a lot of paint to fill it, and you'll probably make a really sloppy mural. But if I give you a small canvas and I want you to paint what really matters, and you do it with presence and awareness, you're going to create beautiful and precise art with great care because every drop of paint matters. Now, I'm not saying that Pollock, one of the artists that splashes the paint on the big, huge canvas, he was kind of a genius, and lots of people like him. But I don't know if his work was very deliberate. It had no borders. And some people have that kind of genius to live without borders, and it works well for them. But most of us actually feel better when we have a tighter container. It feels more manageable. And unlike what you've been told about being restricted or like infinite, being wide open, the truth is that when you have a container, magic can happen. It's the same for parenting. If you don't give kids boundaries to push up against, it's very difficult for them to develop their identity. pushing up against something that is supposed to be there and support you like a good parent creates safety and consistency for the kid. Try it. Paint your financial life in a small canvas. What detail would be there? Would you learn what actually matters to you? Some of my high net worth clients have said that sometimes it's hard to instill in their kids drive and purpose. They no longer have a container to see what really matters to them. They can buy anything that will distract them from hard work. And, they play pretty hard and they don't have any parameters. Orson Welles said that the enemy of art is the absence of limitations. I thought that was really powerful. It's a powerful energy to play with, especially with money. Here's the bottom line. When you can build confidence and personal alignment with money, no matter how much you have, that is true abundance. Once you have peace and joy and confidence with money, the rest are just details. You are no longer a slave to money. Our respect and honor for money is what really matters. We are a global community, and the more is better mentality isn't really working for anyone anymore. If we continue on this track, we'll consume our planet's resources so fast that we may not have a planet to live on. We'll have believed so much in a mentality of lack that we've actually created real lack. We need to shift our programming and start realizing that money is not the enemy, but can be a partner to make the world a better place. And this brings me to the fourth insight, because the truth is, money is the root of a whole lot of good. I know we've all grown up with the myth that money is the root of all evil, or some of us have, but the truth is that money can really create a whole lot of good. It's neutral. It's just energy, and energy can be expended for good or for evil. What if I told you that you could grow your wealth, be a steward to the environment, and contribute to social good at the same time? The truth is, without wealth, it's really hard to make a major impact. Wealth allows you to be a powerful change maker. It can direct the flow of work from things that destroy Earth and people's cultures to something that empowers. When you allow yourself to operate in alignment and flow out of a place of abundance, you can align your choices so that you're able to be a steward of whatever resources you have. Sometimes this sounds so philosophical for people, but it is a passion of mine, and I know that it will shift how you relate with money. Because when you no longer live in lack, it allows you to focus your wealth on choices that deepen community and build connection with support that supports everyone. And when everyone wins, that's when your true net worth skyrockets. Having a deeper understanding of money is not just knowing how to manage it, but also knowing how to use it to create an impact. The truth is that huge decisions come out of accumulation of little choices. Even something as simple as choosing your bank account can be hugely impactful because you're choosing how your savings and your interest on your debt are being used. Have you ever thought of that? Who you shop with, who you invest with, who you buy your food with, and your appliances from. It is all part of the overall financial stewardship. The little choices you make every day add up to create a major impact. Have you ever stopped and looked at how Mother Nature operates, how the planet operates? She is a fine-tuned machine, I'd have to say. It has everything built into it to thrive and flourish. And we are part of nature, so we have that capacity too. Mother Nature is excellent at systems management and resource replenishment. Something as simple as a tree. Its leaves clean the air, and when they fall, they decompose and nourish the ground. When there's an overabundance of bugs one year, it provides food for another species to thrive and creates balance for the next year. Mother Nature is the master steward of resources. She's always balancing things out. And that's how we need to steward our resources as well. When we operate from a place of scarcity, fear, or greed, not only are we and our bank accounts out of balance, but we throw the whole system out of balance, and we throw our own economy out of balance. I also noticed, too, that we have had a subtle shift in the way we talk as a society recently. We no longer say today's society, we say today's economy. We've substituted the idea that we are an ecology where everyone works together with collaboration into an economy where we become these cogs in this money machine. Success is measured by financial profit. We talk about how much this is or how expensive that is, and we make decisions because we need money for our pension or our job pays me well. And the first casualty is basically the earth, the ecology, and ourselves. I know this may sound a little philosophical or even too broad for many of us to really have a connection to or even care about right now when we're struggling with money. But the bottom line is we need to be the rich people. That's what I truly believe. When we are slaves to work and living in a constant state of lack, we drain our personal power to make positive choices. We get sucked into this money game that makes other people rich, and some of those rich people don't have the scruples that we would have if we had the money. When we become slaves to lack, we lose our truer, more fuller connection to money and each other, and we lose our power to do good things. What is rich anyway? To be rich is where you're able to afford all the things and experiences required to fully experience your most authentic life. And being rich is subjective. The amount of money you will need depends on who you are and what your desires are, of course. But regardless of the dollar amount, the same truth applies to everyone. We cannot be living paycheck to paycheck, worrying about money and working so hard that the only joy you get is really thinking about vacation or the weekend when you're going to blow off steam. It doesn't allow you to be empowered with your money. Most of us, many of us, are in fight, flight, or freeze mode when it comes to our finances. And that means that you're literally making decisions from your animal brain, not from your rational brain. Then you don't deal with the underlying emotions around wealth and money. Your rational brain gets flooded and overwhelmed. And training your brain to respond to the emotion so it works alongside your rational mind rather than against it is the key to making money decisions in line with your values. Training the emotional part of your brain takes repetition and practice. When I was a lifeguard, when I was in my early teens, we were trained over and over and over again on how to rescue in case there was a drowning. And I think I had 4 rescues in my career as a lifeguard. And it was interesting because you'd get these 2 whistles, and just instinctually, I knew how to react, I knew what to do, and it was only after the fact that I really actually integrated what happened. But because I had done it so many times that there was no panic, I was calm, present, and aware. And the only way to get out of this money, fight, flight, is to just decide to train your brain to not react out of stress. And when you are stressed, it's difficult to make a wise decision. But when you act out of a desire to create true wealth from practice, you create it for you and for all. That's what I've seen when people are really on top of this. A healthy desire for wealth is not greed. It's a desire for a fuller life. Our world now more than ever needs as many compassionate, creative, big-hearted, conscious people to be as rich as possible so we can start living in full alignment, collaboration with what I like to call our ecological destiny. So much good can come out of all of us being empowered with money. It's true that money has ruined a lot in this world. We've plundered our resources for profits, drilling into the earth. We've made fast fashion, and toxic plastic has filled our oceans. So much greed, violence, money and profit is more important than people. And money is more important than human life. Lots of people will kill for money. But money has also done some really great things. Our farming, water, technology, science, communication, education. We need to rewrite the script that our money is separate from our well-being and from our connection with others. True success is not just material gain, but a deeper connection with others and the world around us. And focusing on growing our monetary wealth and stewarding our financial resources in alignment with our values, with the wider world, is our fullest expression of abundance, or a part of it anyway, and we need to embrace it. And that's truly transformative. So let's recap. Today, we've talked about financial literacy is emotional literacy, and it's not your fault that you don't know everything because we have not been taught, and most people don't have emotional literacy with their money. The second thing is that mindset creates your money, and you have to train your mind, and your beliefs will create your reality. So having a practice is so important. The third thing is more money is not the solution to your abundance. And learning how and what enough is for yourself is not lack. That is true abundance. The fourth thing is money is the root of a whole lot of good. We need to be the rich people so we can create a different reality. So it's time to create wealth in our lives. Which brings us to the fifth insight. You can't do this alone. Transforming your relationship with money from a place of lack and to a place of overflowing, focused abundance takes a lot of work. And the reason I'm in a position to teach you this material is because I've invested heavily in my own progress and success, and I haven't done it alone. I've invested over $100,000 in financial literacy, mindfulness, transformation, and coaching because I know I can't see myself when I'm in the picture. I can't see the frame when I'm in the picture. So I need support. We're not supposed to do this alone. Each time I have made the decision to hire someone, it's been a huge decision, but it was the only way to get from being stuck in maybe like a real cycle of repeating things over and over again. And my financial situation just couldn't change, even though I tried all kinds of things, to moving into a place of peace of mind with money, joyful interactions with everything in my life, and an absolute unshakable confidence with my financial decisions and actions. I'm a big believer in alignment. It's so important to me. It's one of my deepest values. And if I haven't done the work to align and rewire my relationship with money, then clients would sense that. And I have to show up and lead by example. And truth, so do you. We all need to do this. A good mentor or coach will help you align your beliefs and your actions more quickly by playing up your strengths and reframing your weaknesses. They'll help you rewire any limiting beliefs that are keeping you stuck at the level you are, despite all the hard work you put in. A good coach will also give you the tools and strategies to customize and build the life you dream of. Because we all have a bit of a unique dream and we have to customize it for ourselves. And they will also hold you accountable and not let you bail when fear comes a-knocking, because fear does get in the way. And that's generally the way we sabotage our progress. And having accountability is key to creating something different. If you're committed to your success, if you're determined to change your connection with money once and for all, you're going to have to learn a whole new way of being. And you'll want to find the best mentor out there to teach you how to do it. Someone whose values line up with your own, and pay them whatever is necessary to help you make the leap. The money you're losing right now, it's leaking fast, and it's time to stop it. Is it scary? You bet. But stepping into a totally new energy can be uncomfortable, and money and how we spend it is often directly related to the energy we put into it. If you could do this on your own, I guarantee you would have done it already. Here's what you need to win. You need financial literacy. You have to have the information about how finance works in this world. And you need to be able to have the mindset practice that rewires your brain so that you're not emotionally triggered with the stuff that arises in your life. Accountability, someone that has your back and that wants to see you win and knows where you're going and can continually encourage you to move forward. Accountability is huge with money. And community. There's so much secret around money. We don't talk about it. We don't share about it. And the lasting change that happens with all of my clients is when we start to talk about it and build a community. Community is key to transforming your relationship with money. Now, you have a choice. You can walk away from this masterclass and not actually do anything with the information I've given you. You can keep working like a dog and stressing and worrying about money, continue having arguments with your partner, lose sleep, and feel overwhelmed with money. You can keep struggling and growing your debt. You can continue doing what you are doing to be in the same place or a worse place in 5 years' time. Or you can finally overcome your unconscious beliefs with money and become a financially literate rock star and end the growing debt in your life. You can finally see your wealth grow and have the confidence to use it in ways that align with your values. You can have an epic system to work with that runs on its own pretty much, that can weather all of what life throws at you, because life does throw shit at you and all the time. So we have to have our financial systems in order to cope with them and to be able to leverage the cool shit that shows up too. Here's how I can help you. My team and I have set aside some time in the next couple days so we can speak to you personally about how you can apply these ideas to your life starting today. Whatever your biggest challenges are, we've seen it and we know how to overcome it. We will get you on the phone for about 60 minutes. And in this session, we'll work with you to create a step-by-step plan to systematize your money so that it works dynamically without all of your attention. We'll develop a roadmap of how to bust through unconscious money blocks that are holding you back and discover where your financial literacy holes are. And for now, the cost, absolutely free. But here's the catch. This is not for everybody. You must be making some sort of money in your life. If you're unemployed or very underemployed, this program probably isn't for you yet. You must be willing to do what it takes, be committed and resourceful. You have to be able to make these decisions to take your life to the next level. This isn't a plan for a free lunch. This will require growth and work, but it is a plan that actually works. Your financial situation is a reflection of who you are. If you're not happy with this, then you want to be able to commit to you and not be wishy-washy. You have to be ready for this. If this is you, book a session right away. On the call, either I or one of the coaches on my team will help you craft a step-by-step game plan for how to apply what I just taught you. I'm sure some of you might be wondering, why is this call free? We offer a limited number of these per month, partly as our way of giving back and sharing the abundance we are enjoying, and partly because often on this call, we might meet like-minded folks that we discover opportunities to work together and deepen the money relationship. When you come to the table in this spirit of collaboration, truly the sky's the limit. So here's what's going to happen when you click on the link. It's going to take you to a link for my calendar, and you can go ahead and book a time slot that works for you. And then you will be directed to fill out a little questionnaire that will take about 5 to 10 minutes to fill out. It's simple and straightforward, and it'll go a long way to helping us understand where you are and what's keeping you stuck. You don't want to miss this opportunity. Slots fill up extremely quickly, as you can imagine, and it's first come, first serve. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I look forward to speaking to you in person.